Hey guys, OJ Albina here, bringing you guys another episode of our Draft League study. Today we're going to be talking about a really cool Pokemon that was just actually released through Pokemon Home, and that's going to be Melmetal. I actually have the pleasure of drafting this in a league that I'm doing, that I'm not uploading under the channel. It's NCP Showdown. You did see one battle of it, though, go up, just because me and John play on Wi-Fi, and it was a fun match, so I wanted to upload it. I'm thinking about maybe doing the movie towards the end because I had a lot of fun with this season. I had like Libero Cinderace plus Melmetal, which is insane. But I'm kind of getting off on a tangent. More of the story is I've used this Pokemon and I really do think it lives up to the hype. My buddy John would say otherwise, but I think this Pokemon is amazing. I absolutely love using it. No, we used it to very great success, and I figured I could talk about it here on the channel now that I do have some experience with it and stuff like that, and kind of give you my overall thoughts on what it really does well and stuff like that. So yeah, we're going to be talking about Melmetal today. And with that being said, let's jump right into the stats, which are insane. So Melmetal is a pure steel type with the Iron Fist ability, which boosts a lot of its moves, including that double Iron Bash, which brings it up to astronomical amounts of damage. I think a banded double Iron Bash does some crazy calcs to get just like 40% of physically defensive talk picks. You can flinch. Each separate one has a chance to flinch. I think it does like, what is it? It's just about a 2 KO on max HP Bronzong, for example. Like, this thing is immensely strong with the Iron Fist ability and 143 base attack on top of really strong base power moves, and obviously boosting them with the Iron Fist ability. 135 HP and 143 defense makes this thing ridiculously bulky. I remember I was playing around with an Acid Armor set early on in the season of NCP, and at +2, and like when we got up to +2 defense, and Adamant Hawlucha close combat was doing like sub 30%, which is absolutely insane. It makes this thing so bulky, this HP plus defense. Its SPDF is only 65, which is lacking, but that can be remedied within the Salt Vest, or just investing heavily into said SPDF. Because your HP is already so fat as is, you can invest a lot more in your SPDF and really tinker with those EVs. 80 special attack is actually pretty usable. However, you're not going to be using said usable stat very often, just because of the fact that, you know, you have 143 base physical attack, and not much really wants to switch into this absolute behemoth. And then 34 speed is pretty subpar, obviously. However, it does give it a great Trick Room option. And under Trick Room, if you're banded and you're flinching things because you're double Iron Bash and you're just 2-hit killing the entire metagame, this thing's an absolute monster. So I think this thing's stats definitely don't let it down. It's incredibly strong, incredibly bulky. And we're getting to his move pool as well, which is pretty solid. So the first one, obviously, going to be that signature double Iron Bash. It is stab boosted, Iron Fist boosted, hits twice. It has a chance to flinch if you're either under Trick Room faster or just faster than really slow passive mons, stuff like that. It gets access to Thunder Punch and Ice Punch for more Iron Fist coverage and like boosted stuff like that. And Thunder Punch and Ice Punch are really nice in particular, just because they hit things that double Iron Bash doesn't necessarily hit as well. Also has access to Earthquake, which is great for Steel types that want to switch in on your double Iron Bash. So the main goal with Melmetal, in my personal opinion, is getting it in a position where it can just click that stab double Iron Bash, and having good coverage options to hit things that might want to switch in otherwise is always nice. Next up, we also have Body Press and Superpower fighting coverage. Body Press is great for sets that take advantage of Acid Armor or Iron Defense, most likely Acid Armor just because it has more PP. But we'll kind of get into that in a little bit here when I talk about the next set of moves. Superpower is just a nice strong fighting stab to hit steals that Earthquake doesn't necessarily hit, like your Ferrothorns of the world, things like that. Darkest Layer, it's a nice cool little coverage move, and Rock Slide is really nice as well. Again, hitting some of the things, some mons that would necessarily take a double Iron Bash pretty decently. Rock Slide is great coverage for them, so I think that's pretty nice. And then our last one right here is going to be Acid Armor, Thunder Wave, Toxic, and Self-Destruct. Acid Armor, obviously great in boosting your defense and having access to Body Press. That gives you great coverage between double Iron Bash and Body Press. This thing is an absolute menace. Thunder Wave is great for slowing down opponents, and if you slow down something really slow, you can even outspeed it and potentially just flinch it down with that double Iron Bash really effectively, which is nice. Having access to Taunt as a new Gen 8 Mon, or like Gen 7/Gen 8 Mon. I honestly have no idea what this thing's designation is or anything like that. But this thing is an absolute monster in that respect. Being able to throw off some Toxic can be really annoying, and then Self-Destruct is a nice option in case you just want to go boom. So we're going to jump into some sets here. When I show these EVs and things like that in the move sets, obviously this is the draft format. So they're going to be much more varied when you get into your league games. Like, I know for a fact my Melmetals usually have EVs and 5 stats, a little bit in speed, some HP, some attack, some defense, and some speed. You can get really technical with the stuff. However, that's because I know what I'm facing. Obviously, in this, we don't really have an opponent, so we're just kind of talking general sets, general coverage moves, and stuff like that. I did throw like 12 speed into all of these, just to outspeed Toxapex, I think it is, which is what they're usually running in OU, I think, or what they were running before this thing got banned. Maybe a little bit more speed than this, but I figured showing that like 12 speed is more so just for the fact of this thing can run a little bit of speed to outspeed those really slow mons if you really want. I ran like 140 speed Jolly Melmetal once to outspeed a minus speed Sylveon because I was playing Trick Room. It actually worked, which was pretty cool. But yeah, that's going to be kind of the base behind the EVs and stuff like that. But that being said, jump right into the sets. First up, we have Choice Band, which is honestly the main allure of this thing. It is so strong, like I said before, with that Double Iron Bash, just nuking things with the Choice Band boost. Earthquake, Thunder Punch, Rock Slide all cover you really well. Superpower is replaceable. You could throw an Ice Punch potentially there. A bunch of different options in that respect. You can even throw in Self-Destruct if you really need to. But your main kind of goal here is going to be clicking that Double Iron Bash for sure, in my opinion. It's just such a strong move that you're not going to need too much otherwise in the Banded set. And you're going to see in these sets, while Melmetal doesn't have the deepest move pool, and it might not run as much variance in its moves, it has a couple different roles that it can fill, which is obviously super nice for it. Next up, we have an Assault Vest set. Rock Out pretty much the same EV spread, same attacks again. You can swap those out for Superpower, or Rock Slide, or Ice Punch, or I mean Rock Slide already there, or Ice Punch, or anything like that, depending on your matchup and all that good stuff. But this Assault Vest set is to, one, be able to switch up moves, which is obviously super nice for you. Two, really remedy that mediocre SPDF stat that you have. If you're running this in an actual league game and you want to optimize your EVs and stuff like that, you're obviously going to run probably a little bit more in your SPDF than we have right here, which is none. But again, just general idea of hitting very hard, being able to chew up some hits, be a nice, just a nice tank option to really just put a lot of hurt on your opponent. While maybe not having that band power, you're still really strong, and you're going to be able to chew those, Fire Blast coverage moves, a lot better. Remember, I ran an AV Melmetal versus a Clefable, and the Clefable wasn't offensive or anything, granted, but it threw off a Fire Blast against me. It did like 27% or something like that, and I was not max SPDF, I can tell you that much. I had a tiny bit of SPDF. I was plus SPDF, but wasn't like max is what I'm trying to say. So you can choose some special hits pretty easily with proper investment and stuff like that. Next up, we have a pretty cool set that I really like. It's going to be a leftover set with Double Iron Bash, Body Press Substitute, and Acid Armor. It's going to be more so a SPDF set, kind of remedying that fact that you're going to be boosting your defense, so why not, for the rest of your defense, SPDF, because it's going to be the weaker side. The main idea with this thing is to get up a sub on something, get up an Acid Armor, and hopefully push through your opponent's team in that way with +2 body presses and everything that body press doesn't hit, Double Iron Bash does, and vice versa, hopefully in the matchup. This set is an absolute demon to deal with if it has the proper matchup, because again, those steel types don't want to come in and take your Double Iron Bash, aren't going to appreciate a +2 body press, which is, again, amazing. And despite not really having much attack investment on this set, again, it's just still so strong. You don't necessarily need that every time. I'm not running max attack Melmetal every single week that I'm playing, unless I'm running like Band or something like that. So I think this is definitely a very viable option in that sense. Next up, we have another pretty cool set here, which is going to be Rest Talk. It's going to be just, an adamant, strong Melmetal. Double Iron Bash and Thunder Punch. Thunder Punch can be substitute, again, for literally any coverage move you have. Thunder Punch can be Earthquake or Superpower. I don't like Superpower on Rest Talk, to be honest, so not really Superpower. It can be Body Press. It can be, Ice Punch, Rock Slide, all that good stuff. And then Rest and Sleep Talk. This is just to kind of help you out with the fact that you don't have any reliable recovery. So being able to obviously have said reliable recovery is really nice for you. And then getting nice Sleep Talk rolls and stuff like that can always help out as well. And just make this thing stick around longer and do more damage longer. And then lastly, this one may not be as great as others, but this is going to be a Sub-Toxic Protect set. Double Iron Bash just gives you good strong stab in general. And then Sub-Toxic Protect, again, doesn't only let you stay alive longer, it lets you rack up a lot of toxic chip on everything. The steel is this is definitely very vulnerable to opposing steel types, which is something you can swap out like sub or protect, either one, for like Earthquake or Body Pressure or something like that. But I think this is still pretty viable in its own right. You can also swap out the Toxic for like T-Wave, maybe run a little bit more speed so you can try and paraflinch some things down. That's definitely a very viable option in itself. So I think this thing is this is a pretty fun option, a little bit more of a niche option, but I figured I might as well mention it because again, this is the league format. That's where we can do cool stuff like that. But yeah, that's gonna be the main Melmetal stuff we're gonna talk about today. As for things this thing really appreciates, something I really like is, just something to really take on those steel types that it doesn't really, basically something that hit things that double Iron Bash doesn't. So things to pivot into bulky waters. I love Volt Turn with this thing. Like I have Cinderace plus Rotomo, I think, and Cinderace beats a lot of those steel types or threatens them out, and Rotomo beats a lot of those water types, especially that really want to switch into this thing. So having to take away that being able to take away that prediction game. I'm sorry, I'm stumbling a little bit. It's late. Being able to take away some of that prediction game is really, really big with this thing, I think. And if you have a way to heal this thing up, it's hard to pass wishes too. I've noticed. I drafted a Aromatisse with it, and it's very tough to keep it healthy in that way just because its HP set is so massive. It makes it hard to pass wishes. Even with Aromatisse's fat 101 base HP, you're not, healing off that full half, unfortunately. But maybe getting a healing wish user like Hatterene. I think Hatterene would be phenomenal with this thing. Being able to have Hatterene Melmetal Trick Room would be insane. Jirachi would be really, really cool with this thing. Being able to throw healing wishes to it and stuff like that. And then, just really being able to get it in for free and getting it to click big moves is going to be the main thing. Dougie could also be nice potentially with a team with him on like this, trapping those steel types. And things like that, trapping those fire types I maybe want to switch in, like a Rocky Helmet Arcanine is a really good Melmetal check, like a really good Melmetal check. That's obviously super nice. That's something you do have to watch out for, again, with this thing, just because of the fact that you are hitting twice a lot of the time. People are going to try and bait you with some Rocky Helmet and stuff like that, just like they used to do to Mega Kang back in Gen 7 and Gen 6. So that's going to be something you have to watch out for, but all in all, I think this Mon is incredibly high upside, incredibly low downside. This thing is an absolute beast. I loved using it. It was one of my favorite mods I've used this generation so far. It did really, really well for me. And it forced so much prep on my opponents, and I absolutely love this thing. I think it's great. There's a reason it was banned from the OU tier. We think it should be banned from draft. No, I don't. I think draft is a little bit different. I think there's definitely ways to play around it if you know it's coming. It was not like, a catch-all perfect Pokemon, obviously. It has pretty mediocre speed def, pretty shallow move pool offensively, though its offensive move pool is obviously pretty much what it needs, in all honesty. And its special attack isn't very great, and you're not really running mixed Melmetal for any reason. But yeah, that's going to be Melmetal. Definitely try it out if you can. It's definitely a top 3 pick, in my opinion. I know John would kill me. I think this is definitely top 5 at bare minimum. I would put it in the top 3. I love it. Thank you guys so much for watching, though. If you're new, be sure to subscribe. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to drop a like. I'd really appreciate it.